If you are trying to quit porn with just willpower alone, you are going to lose. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because willpower is like a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets tired. So when you are stressed, you're lonely, you're bored, or you're just exhausted after a long day, boom, that's when the urges come and your willpower is already depleted. And that is when you relapse. Not because you don't want to quit, but because the strategy you are using is broken. If this is a cycle that you are stuck in, then this video is for you. In this video, I am going to cover 4 reasons why willpower alone doesn't work when you are trying to quit porn and what to do instead. We are going to cover the science behind dopamine and how porn hijacks your motivation, the hidden cost of decision fatigue, and why your environment matters more than your discipline. Plus, I will give you some tools that will make this process feel less like a constant battle and more like a long-term transformation. Let's dive into the first reason why willpower alone doesn't work. And for that, we have to go deeper into the science of dopamine, which is the real driver behind why porn feels so hard to quit. Dopamine is often misunderstood as the pleasure chemical, but it is actually more accurate to call it the motivation chemical. It is what makes you take action. It is what makes you seek sex, food, achievement, connection, basically anything your brain believes to be rewarding. When you do something enjoyable, your brain releases dopamine, and that's what makes you want to do it again. That is how habits are formed. The stronger the dopamine spike, the stronger the habit loop that is created. Now, here is the problem. Porn floods your brain with dopamine on a level similar like that of hard drugs like cocaine. It is a supercharged, unnatural experience that your brain starts to see as top priority for survival. So, of course, you keep coming back time and time again to porn, because your brain has started to expect that surge of dopamine. And when it doesn't get the surge of dopamine, it starts to feel flat, restless, and even anxious. That is not a willpower issue, that is a dopamine imbalance. The good news is your brain can adapt. This is called neuroplasticity. Just like it learned to chase porn, your brain can learn to find motivation again in healthier things. And this is something I experienced myself. When I first started quitting porn, I picked up going to the gym as a new hobby. At first, it really felt like a chore. I didn't really want to go, and I had to force myself to get up, take my bag, and go to the gym. Because going to the gym didn't give me the same dopamine high porn used to do. It didn't give me the instant rush. It didn't give me the quick reward. But I stuck with it, and over time something shifted. I started to enjoy it. Going for a workout started to feel like fun. My confidence grew, and my brain started to recognize, hey, this is rewarding too. Eventually, I didn't have to push myself so hard anymore. I started looking forward to going to the gym. My motivation shifted from watching porn to something that was healthy and that was building me up over time. And that is the power of finding better dopamine sources. Activities like working out, getting sunlight, working towards a goal, or working on a meaningful project, they all release dopamine, just in smaller, more sustainable amounts. When you consistently engage in these healthy behaviors, you are teaching your brain the following. Hey, we don't need porn anymore to feel good. There are other ways to feel good, satisfied, and connected. This shift is key, because now when your brain is getting these dopamine from healthier sources, you are no longer fighting the cravings with willpower alone. Your motivation starts to work with you and no longer against you. Reason number 2 why people fail to quit porn even when they really want to is because their environment stays exactly the same. Think about it. You are trying to break a habit while you're still living in the same environment that reinforced the habit. You're living in the same bedroom. You're using the same phone. You're using the same apps. You are facing the same triggers. In behavioral science, there is a concept called cue-driven behavior. Your brain links certain environments, certain objects, and even certain times of days with specific habits. So even when you are consciously trying to quit and you have made the decision to quit, subconsciously your brain is still responding to the same cues as it did before. And when those cues are everywhere, your phone, your apps, your social media feed, your willpower does not stand a chance. It is just like trying to diet while standing in a bakery. You don't need stronger willpower, you just need a better environment. If you want to quit porn, you need to make watching it as inconvenient as possible, and you need to make the healthier activities as effortless as possible. This is called environmental design, and it is one of the most underrated tools during recovery. The goal is simple here. Make it hard to relapse and make it easy to live well. Here are some practical ways you can do that right now. Delete triggering apps. If your social media is filled with explicit content, either delete the app or unfollow triggering accounts. TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, if they are pulling you down, they have to go. Install porn blockers. Use tools that block porn websites in all your browsers on all your devices. In today's day and age, it is very, very easy to find these tools. They are available everywhere. You can use tools like Cold Turkey Blocker and Blockeye. Grayscale your phone. This one might seem a bit weird, but it definitely works. If you put your phone on grayscale mode, you make it as boring as possible. It becomes very, very unstimulating. And this is exactly the point. You want to make your phone as boring as possible, so you look at it as few times as possible. Change your physical setup. Don't use your phone in bed. Don't even take it to your bedroom. If you can, you want to move your workspace, the place where you work, to a more public spot, so you are definitely less inclined to go watch porn on your laptop while you are working, and put books and journals everywhere in your house, so you are more inclined to pick one up and start reading or writing whenever you walk past one of these books. Have go-to activities ready. When an urge hits, don't just sit there and battle it. Use your list of alternate activities. For example, you can go for a walk, you can call a friend, you can hit the gym, or you can journal. The more accessible these activities are to you, the more likely you are to do them when an urge hits. Quitting porn isn't just about resisting urges. It is about setting yourself up to win. And your environment either supports your goals or it sabotages them. The good news? You have the power to change your environment right now. Reason number 3 why willpower alone doesn't work is something called the rebound effect. The rebound effect is a psychological phenomenon where the more you try to not think about something, the more you will think about it. We have all heard the example of the pink elephant. The more you try not to think about the pink elephant, the more it starts to dominate your mind, and all you can think about is this pink elephant. The same thing happens with sexual urges. The more you try to resist them and push them down, the stronger they come back. This is called a rebound. They rebound back. So you suppress them and they come back even stronger. And this is very exhausting. It takes a lot of willpower and it completely depletes that willpower very, very fast. So what is the alternative? Instead of suppressing the urge, you can learn to just sit with it. Instead of thinking, oh no, I can't feel this urge is bad, you can think to yourself, okay, I feel an urge, I'll notice it, but I won't act upon it. This is called urge surfing. It is a mindfulness technique where you try to ride the wave of the urge. It builds, it peaks, and then it fades again. Every single time. There is no urge that doesn't build, peak, and fade. The goal here is not to suppress the urge or make the urge go away. It is to learn to ride the urge, to ride the wave of the urge without getting dragged under by it. The more you practice sitting with the urge instead of reacting to the urge, the weaker the urges become over time, and the more you teach your brain that an urge has no power over you and you don't have to give in to it. You can even take it a step further and redirect the sexual energy you are feeling in that moment. Instead of wasting it on a screen jacking off, you can use it to build something meaningful. You can redirect that energy and put it into another activity. The energy you feel is not the problem, it is what you choose to do with that energy that counts. So instead of using all your willpower to not feel the urge, you can try this. Feel the urge, breathe through the urge, and ride the wave of the urge. The fourth reason why willpower alone doesn't work is because you stay stuck in reactive mode and you are not going towards proactive mode. You are just waiting for the urge to hit. You're just sitting there and you are hoping that you will have enough strength to resist the urge and not give in to it. This over time is definitely a losing game. The real shift happens when you stop being reactive and you start being proactive. That means you are building systems and routines ahead of time. You are thinking about ways to make the urges less likely to occur and more easy to handle when they do occur. This is done by filling up your days with meaningful activities and using something that is called implementation intentions. Implementation intentions are basically these when statements that declare what you are going to do when an urge hits. For example, you could say to yourself, when an urge hits, I will go for a walk instead of jacking off. Or you could say, when an urge hits, I will call a friend instead of jacking off. One of the most powerful things you can do when quitting porn is identify your biggest situational and emotional triggers that lead you to go watch porn. For example, it could be boredom, or it could be loneliness. Whenever you feel boredom or loneliness, you are inclined to go watch porn. It could be something else for you, but let's just stick with these as the example. And what you do instead is you decide in advance what you will do when you feel these feelings in the future. For example, whenever you feel bored, you say to yourself this statement: when I feel bored, I will go for a walk. Or if your trigger is loneliness, you can say, when I feel lonely, I will call up a friend. You make these rules inside of your mind with exactly what you are going to do when you feel this trigger. One of my biggest triggers used to be anger and frustration. Whenever I felt like I had no control over a situation, I would turn to porn. This for me became a coping mechanism, a way to avoid my problem. It was a way in which I felt like I had some control over the problem, but really I was just bullshitting myself. What helped me was to recognize this pattern. I realized that whenever I felt angry, I would go watch porn. And so I made a deal with myself that from this moment, when I started feeling angry, I would do something else. In my case, I said, okay, whenever I feel angry, I will go for a run and run out the anger out of my body so I don't turn to porn. And this worked. So here's the truth. Quitting porn isn't about becoming some willpower hero. It is about understanding your brain and then setting yourself up to win. You shift your dopamine towards healthier activities. You design an environment that makes it harder for you to relapse. You learn to ride the urges and not fight them. And you stop reacting by building a day you don't want to escape from. If you are on this journey, I want you to know that you are not broken. You are just human and you are learning to figure out your brain and learn to work with your brain instead of against it. So take what you heard in this video and apply just one piece of it in your life today. Not next week, today. And if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a comment, a like, and subscribe to the channel. Not just for the algorithm, but so that other people that are struggling with this problem can find this video too. Stay strong.